Good morning, Sauhegan, and welcome to another Screencastify video where we are going to look at writing equations of polynomials that include their stretch factor. Now, before we start, let's look at today's trivia. Who scored in soccer the Hand of God goal? If you don't know and you haven't seen it before, go look it up on YouTube. It's absolutely wild. It was never called as a handball. He basically punched the ball in the goal with his hand, and that was Diego Maradona. He's a cheater. So today we're going to look at writing the equations of polynomial functions, including a stretch factor. So the first thing that we want to remember is we want to first look for our x-intercepts. So we have an x-intercept at 0, and we have an x-intercept at 3. So before we even get started, we've got to remember that this is a different kind of x-intercept here. This is called a double root. So down here we have a double root. That double root means that it bounces. So whatever factor we get here, we're going to have to square it. So whatever factor we get there, we're going to have to square. So basically, we're going to undo those equations of x equals 0. So that's going to give us a factor of x. And remember, we're squaring it because this is a double root. Then we're going to come over here to x equals 3. And when I undo that, I'm going to get x minus 3. So there are factors, x squared because of the double root, and x minus 3 because it passes through 3. We have to potentially remember that we have an a factor. That a is your stretch factor. So I can hear all of you in the background yelling at me and just say, why can't we stop there? Well, we might not have an accurate graph. So I want to find some point on the graph that is nice. So I already have a couple of nice points. I could use the point 1, 2. I could use the point 2, 4. I could use any of those points that cross nicely. For those of you that know me, I'm going to take the easy way out. I'm always going to take the smaller number, but it doesn't matter. We should get the same value. So after we've established what our x-intercepts are, we're going to take the point 1, 2 because it crossed nicely, and that's going to give us our x and y values. So wherever I have an x, I'm going to put a 1. And wherever I have a y, I'm going to put a 2. So our y value is 2, our x value is 1. And now we end up with this baby equation. And we can simplify that right-hand side to negative 2a. And when we solve, we get a is negative 1. We didn't have to make it negative because it does go down from left to right, so a had to be negative, but by solving for the value of a, it fixed it for us. Don't forget you do need to go back and plug that in. So we have y equals negative x squared x minus 3. So just to re-say what we've already talked about, our first step is to establish what your x-intercepts are. You might have to deal with the multiplicity like we did with the double root. Once you've established what your x-intercepts are, you then make them your roots, the factors. After you have your factors, you're going to look for a nice point. That'll give you your x and y values, and we plug those x and y values in, simplify to solve for a, and then we plug a back into our equation, and we end up with our beautiful equation here. And does it make sense? We have at 0, we have a bounce. At 3, we go through, and it does go down from left to right. So we are perfect. Thank you, Sauhegan, and have a tremendous day.